This video demonstrates how to find regulations in the Code of Federal Regulations, or CFR, on Westlaw. Let's assume you are looking for whether there is a federal regulation requiring disclosure of the odometer reading when selling a used car. There is more than one way to get to the CFR on Westlaw. You can type CFR in the search box and select it from the drop-down menu, or you can select Regulations and then Code of Federal Regulations under Federal. Either way you get to the same place. Also, there is more than one way to search within the CFR. It is good to know multiple search tools because sometimes one tool will get you to the answer better than another. You can browse the table of contents. Browsing works best if you already know the title and can then browse within that title, especially given the number of titles. You can search terms in the search box, or you can use the index. Let's try using the index since most students are least familiar with that method. Indexes are particularly helpful for finding the main discussion of a topic rather than getting every single hit of a term. Indexes also identify synonyms which you may not have considered or included in a term search. Our topic has to do with disclosing odometer readings, so I'm going to search for odometer in the index. Click on O, scroll down to look for odometer, and here it is. And as I review this list, I notice that the relevant title is 49 and the relevant part is 580. There are several sections in 580. So I'm going to click on 49 CFR 580.1 etc. at the top to get to the beginning of all the sections on the subject. Part 580 covers odometer disclosure requirements. Section 580.1, which we are in right now, describes the scope of Part 580 generally, but it isn't specifically answering my question. So let's open the table of contents to see all the regulation sections under Part 580. As I review this list of sections in Part 580, I notice that there are several that may be relevant to my topic. For now, let's just select 580.5, Disclosure of Odometer Information. Now that we found a relevant section, let's review what we're looking at. We are in Title 49 of the CFR, Part 580, Section 580.5. This regulation was promulgated by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Department of Transportation. From here you can read the text of the regulation. Currentness tells you the last time Westlaw checked for updates to this section. In other words, Westlaw has checked through the Federal Register up to July 11, 2019 to see if there are updates to this section. To find out when the regulation first became law and all of its amendments, look under Credits. Then look at the information in the brackets. The regulation was made law March 8, 1989, initially published at 54 FR 9814. FR stands for the Federal Register. The regulation was last amended September 20th, 1991, and that amendment was initially published at 56 Federal Register 47,686. Remember, if you want background on why the regulation was promulgated, you can look in the Federal Register. The authority identifies the statutory authority Congress bestowed on the agency to promulgate this regulation. You can find that authority at 49 U.S.C. Section 32705. Remember, the U.S.C. stands for United States Code, which is the federal statute. As we saw with statutes, we can use KeyCite to get further information. If the regulation was overruled by a court or there was a proposed regulation amending this regulation, KeyCite would indicate these issues with red and yellow flags. Notes of decisions leads you to cases organized by subject. This is the best link to use to find cases on our regulatory section. History leads you to proposed amendments and versions of the regulation. Citing references lists and links to all resources that cite to this regulation. For example, cases, other regulations, and secondary sources. Context and analysis lists and links to resources that are on the same topic as the regulation, even if those resources don't cite the regulation. For example, United States Code sections on odometers. This concludes our video demonstration of searching the CFR, or Code of Federal Regulations, using Westlaw. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us.